I didn't do any research. You know what I mean? Like they're like play a loser kid. I was like, oh, I better pour over some texts. I was like, oh, I better watch like candid video of like awkward kids to learn their behaviors. I went, oh, and then I pulled it out like, you know, it's not even like I had to dig that far back. It was like I'm still that sometimes. You know what I mean?
Hi, Ben. It's so great to
What's up,
finally
Sam?
meet you. How you doing today?
Yeah, great. You too. I'm doing all right. Great background.
Oh, thank you so much. I kept the theme all around you, and I don't know if you can tell, but I've also got this on for you today too.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, look at that. Dude, can you make me one? I forgot to steal mine from set, and
What?
I'm so pissed about it.
Oh
Yeah, I'm so
no.
pissed.
Oh no, that's
I
terrible.
don't like I don't have anything from that set. I'm deeply pissed.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'll arrange something, and down the line
Okay.
we'll get it going. Um, so first off, Ben, I just gotta say right off the bat, I absolutely loved Brian. I think when I got the screener link, I think I saw it at least four times back to back. And the reason being is, I swear, I don't know. I know you said you felt this about American Born Chinese, that you felt that the writers were spying on you. I swear to you, no joke. I was watching Brian and I was thinking, are you sure that I was not being spied on? Because I'm having severe deja vu right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it?
Mm, absolutely.
I am in a lot of one of those actually.
Yeah. And obviously I want to talk about the movie in just a moment, but I just feel like just got to disclose this really quick though. I have been, as of most recently, been confused for being you before, believe it or not.
Is that
I had
true?
a, I'm dead serious. I think I had seen Karate Kid Legends the second time in theaters, and
Hmm.
I was coming out of the theater and I had to call my mom, letting her know what time I was coming back home. And I was, I'm Chinese as well, so I was talking to her in Mandarin, letting them know what time I was coming home. And a bunch of kids thought that I was you, and then they started freaking out and asking me to do the dragon kick for you. And I was like, oh no. Oh no, no, no. I can't do that.
Damn.
Yeah. I just had to share that real quick because it's I've been waiting
Well,
so long to
thanks
tell
for
you this.
not, yeah, thanks for not
Yeah.
stolen valoring, my
Don't worry,
good
I couldn't
name.
do the
But
actual kick, so no harm
well, me
there.
neither, dude. So
Yeah.
spoilers, like I can't either. So we're good.
That wasn't
We're good.
you?
You
Oh
kidding
gosh.
me? It was like three people
Oh my
composited together.
God. Okay, well, that's what we call
I
movie
was the
magic.
first third, and then it cuts to the second guy.
There you go. So obviously, I want to get definitely get into a little bit of Brian now. And one thing I kind of wanted to ask you first was, I've noticed just within the roles you play, you usually have one of two extremes of characters that you play. One version would be you would be this loudmouth, very confident, outspoken kind of character, whether that's Bo in Chang Can Dunk or Hank in The Long Walk. And then you got the other end of the spectrum where you're more shy and insecure, whether that's Jin in American Born Chinese or Brian in this film. I'm curious how you approach those two types of roles differently because they're on two different spectrums.
Well, I think they're on one spectrum, and I think the roles that I play typically fall somewhere in that spectrum. Right. Yes, there are the very sort of introverted and awkward kids like Jin on one side, and I think on the far other side would be someone like Hank Olsen. But I think everyone else falls somewhere else in between those two, right? I feel like, yes, Bo is more confident, but he's not quite as loud-mouthed, and he definitely has more like introspectiveness, right? He is sort of the wise friend in that film, right? And Brian and Jin are similar in many ways, whereas Brian's insecurity comes a lot from this, from his this mental thing that he has to get through that, is sort of clinical. Jin's comes more from his relationship with his own culture and his family and where that comes from. Whereas I feel like Brian is actually far more confident in that. Like he doesn't worry about that, right? The world that he lives in is not so focused on that. And these are the nuances and the differences that I think about with each character that I play. And that's what keeps it fun for me. I feel like every character I've played has been quite separate and unique from the others, with a few exceptions, but I feel like I try to every time craft a character whose circumstances and realities are unique and unique to that character.
Well, I mean, it definitely, Brian is definitely very clinically mentally ill and very easily triggered as well. And one thing that really stood out to me was that audition scene where I think you can kind of see that Brian was starting to go a little stir crazy because it seems to me, and I'm speaking from personal experience as well, where I think the opinions of others is really what I think is what causes him to lash out. Like when you were, you know, doing scenes like that, is that kind of the way you had to approach it? That it was not just that he was clinically mentally ill, but he cares a little too much about what people think of him.
Well, that's it, right? It's like, when I say that his problems are more clinical, I mean that he is seeing a psychiatrist and he is getting medication for it,
Mm.
right? But yeah, at the end of the day, his anxieties are the same as anyone else's. They're just amplified. His triggers are the same as anybody else's. They're just, like you said, maybe they're more sensitive, but also just his response is maybe less robust than other people's might be. And that is part of what makes him think that, that compounds on itself. And it's what makes him, scared to get out of bed in the morning. And that's the story. The story is not about him overcoming his illness. The story is about him learning to live better with it. The story is about him seeing a wider and brighter horizon where if he works slowly and iteratively, he can build mechanisms within himself
Mhm.
to help deal and process with the way that his brain works. And it's also about him learning how the way that his brain works is not only a detriment, it's also sometimes a boon. It also sometimes helps him connect with other people. It also sometimes helps him relate to other people. I mean, that's the basis of his whole platform for running for president. It's like, well, I mean, these people don't understand what it's like to be a loser. I do. And that that
Mhm.
tragedy allows me a wider degree of empathy.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, this is not like a story about a kid beating his mental illness. This is a story about a kid who learns to live with it and learns that living can be okay with it and that his life can be something
Yeah. I
and
agree.
that, he can still have great days.
Oh, for sure. And, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit here. I did also find a little while back that you used to, I mean, considering that Brian's also, a film where let's just say he engages in things that are not quite appropriate for his age. Um, what's the deal with that
With
one?
that,
You used to have a YouTube channel and I found it and it was
yeah.
called Rage Asian. And then you had a video called Buying Beer on the Internet where you had to change your age. Like, what was that about?
You watch it?
I many times, and I'm still trying to make sense of it.
Is it pretty good? I no,
It's
the
so
the
good.
gag is that like it's like a first of all, I made it when I was already of age to buy beer. So when I bought one so so that me drinking beer in that video, it's totally legal. But the premise it's like a short, it's like this was back in the days of YouTube haiku. Okay, I put this on YouTube Haiku and it did numbers. It made front page of Reddit. Okay, in like 2018 or 17 or whenever I did this. Okay, and the premise of the movie, it's the only one I've left on YouTube because the other videos I'm a little bit more embarrassed of. But it's the only one I left on YouTube because I'm proud of it. No, but the premise is that he's a kid. Like who wants to buy because we found like this is just like me and my roommate, like college roommate. We found like you could go to Budweiser.com and they're like you can buy beer on the internet. Yeah, just enter your age. Like enter your birthday. We're like, that's ridiculous. So like a kid can just like enter his age. So the gag is like this kid who's also the gag doesn't work anymore because he puts in his birthday as 200 and then he stops on the last number. Because when we released this in like 2017, anybody who was born in 2000 anything wouldn't have been 21 yet. That doesn't work anymore. So that's part of why maybe the gag falls flat now. But he's like I don't know what to write because he's like and then he's like sweating, and then the gag is that in order to rectify this, he gets into a trench coat with his friend. So they're two guys in a trench coat, and he's got a mustache on. And now because he looks like it's the two kids in a trench coat gag.
Yeah.
Now because he's two kids in a trench coat, he can type in my birthday is 19, and then he writes like 1908. And then there's like this voiceover of like his like voice was like I remember Al Jolson singing toot toot toots. It's all these like really like esoteric like references to the like the 19 aughts to like that's and then like the beer comes at the door, and then like he opens it and he drinks it, but then he has to give a sip to the guy who's like underneath, so he has to like zip his pants down, and that guy takes a drink. I thought it was really good, and so did Reddit. So if you didn't get it, that maybe it's a problem with the craft of it, but I think I did a pretty good job on that one.
I'll give it a rewatch because I was watching and I was thinking like it had very like I was watching it and then I rewatched Brian again. I was like, oh, there's something. I don't know what Ben is on, but there's something going on
You
here.
saw that connection, huh?
Yeah.
You saw a connection between those two things.
I saw a connection. Yeah. I mean, it's about, it's like Brian's about an underage teenager that's in love with his teacher. And then here
Oh,
you
okay,
are making
yeah.
a film about trying to buy beer
Trying to
with
buy
your
beer on
character
the
is
internet.
underage. Yeah. I've got about 5 minutes left, but I definitely want to ask you a little bit about, I mean, obviously this movie that takes place in high school as well. And I think it's no secret that I've seen you credit Northfield High School in many, many of your interviews. I'm curious, did you
Shout out.
bring any of your own personal experience into the making of this movie?
Yeah, it was all that. Like I didn't do any research. You know what I mean? Like they're like play a loser kid. I was like, oh, I better pour over some texts. You know? I was like, oh, I better watch like candid video of like awkward kids to learn their behaviors. Like I went, oh, and then I pulled it out like, and then I went to set, and then it's like it's not even like I had to dig that far back. It was like I'm still that sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm still that kid. So I just have to take away the stuff that isn't that kid, and then I'm that kid again. It's like I wake up in the morning, I show up on set, I go to wardrobe, they hand me clothes that already kind of basically look like the clothes that I came in wearing. And then I go to hair and makeup, and then they look and they go, yeah, I mean, your haircut's fine. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I go on set, and then I people say stuff to me, and I react normally.
Hmm.
And then Will Ropp goes, great, you're a genius. And I go, yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought hard about this.
To be fair, full disclosure, I think this is maybe why I had a bunch of people think I was you because I too was also that kid. And I'll say this though, is that I think last time I checked, I think we're also the same height as well, which is crazy to me. So,
Awesome. So we could if you and I stacked up in a trench coat, we might be able to pass for someone who could buy beer.
oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm going to be 30 in a couple months, but I don't look like it. I still get confused as a
Congratulations,
16-year
dude.
old.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
made it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll turn 30 in like 2 weeks. So I'm soaking in. So this is the best birthday gift I could get, but getting to finally meet you. And I hope one day we'll be able to meet in person as well, so I can give you the biggest hug.
That'd be great.
Alrighty. And I'll wrap it up with one final short question, Ben. I think would be a great one to leave on because we talked about being awkward and weird. What is the most weirdest or quirkiest thing about you?
It's not one thing, it's like it's never one thing. The weirdest thing, I mean, I'm totally socially inept. I'm actually completely socially inept. Which
You'd have me
people
fooled.
like when I tell people that they're like, there's no way you're speaking to me now. I'm like, no, but you don't understand like all of the calculus that's going on inside of my head to make, to like puppeteer my face and my mouth to make it seem like I'm having a normal conversation with you. Like you don't understand the years of training. Like when I look at like a kid, like a 12-year-old kid having a conversation with someone, I'm like, how's like he's just doing that normally? Like I was like in the mirror, like talking to myself in the mirror to like practice how to talk to people in real life. You know what I mean? I feel like I feel like I constantly feel like there's some sort of class that like about how to behave as like a human being that I just like everyone else like got the invite to, and then I just didn't. So like That's maybe if you want to like that might be the weirdest thing.
Yeah. And that pretty much is me as well. Ben, man, it's been absolutely fantastic to talk with you. And let's definitely meet up one of these days and get us in that trench coat together.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. Let's get some
Uh,
beer, man.
yeah, let's do it. All right, Ben. Well, it's great to meet you, and congrats again on the movie.
Thanks, dude.
All right,
All right,
take it
take
easy,
care.
Ben.
Yeah.